All right. So Raya and the Last Dragon has been out for a little bit, so I thought it was finally time to talk about this movie in spoiler details. Um, I really didn't want to do that for a while because I was just so nervous about doing it because I know a lot of people aren't watching this movie. Number one, there was a controversy that the main lead was was not the race that Disney wanted to voice the character, so they fired her for someone who is a better race. Which I don't. I hate that mentality because people when people say stuff like that, it's so stupid to me because it's like, okay, so you're no longer choosing people based off their voice. You're now choosing people based off their race, and these people are claiming, no, 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 we're doing this to be anti-racist, but really it seems more racist and counterproductive to me. What's the point of doing this? But teach their own, I guess. But I still um, I still thought here's the thing. She did a great job voice acting, so maybe it would have been maybe she was the better choice. Who knows? But all I can say is, yeah. So let's get into some of the spoilers. So most of this movie, um, I didn't really describe the plot more in this movie, in my non spoiler review of this movie, but the plot of this movie is there's this world, Kamandra or whatever, that's split apart because of um, when this beast was unleashed, the dragons had to come together to stop. They had to sacrifice themselves. Well, the world kind of fell into shambles over it, and they started fighting, and this whole world was spread apart. And now the whole movie is about them kind of learning to trust each other and come together, which I think was a great message. I think it was really well done. I think my only issue with this movie is its predictable nature, and what I mean by that is I guessed some of the things that would happen at the end. Well, one of those big things that happened at the end is the whole movie they kept talking about the dragons as if they're dead. Well, they come back at the end of this movie, and it was so predictable. It was kind of, and I really hated this because the dragons being dead would have been better for the message. I would have think because the characters in the movie, would have to deal with the fact that their ancestors refused to trust each other, and that was the sacrifice that they have to now live with. That there are no more dragons, and maybe they could have brought back Sisu, but I think Sisu should have stayed dead, and it just should have been. It should have been like, here's the consequences if you don't trust people for no reason. I mean, it's not like they didn't have no reason to trust each other, but you still should trust people, not blindly, of course, but trust. But it's just I don't know. I think that part was way too predictable. I really liked um, some of it. I kind of liked how when everybody came back from being stoned, it was kind of like the Thanos snap, where certain characters were older and some were the same age as they were when they turned to stone and things like that. It's kind of an interesting premise. But overall, I just this was a very predictable movie. They wanted to get these dragon pieces to save the world, and it's kind of like you knew where this was going to go the whole time. And while I enjoyed the ride, I still wanted more from this movie that I didn't really get. And that's the unfortunate thing about it. Still, a decent movie.